guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Bria and I love everything books. Today, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this. I am gonna go get Sunrise on the Reaping. I'm so excited. Technically, it came out on Tuesday and it is now Sunday. So there's like so many people have already finished it and read it, but I haven't been able to get it yet. But I have a car now. So we're at Barnes & Noble and I'm gonna go in there and we're gonna go get Sunrise on the Reaping. Let's go. Guess this, but they are out of Sunrise on the Reaping along with every other Barnes & Noble in Phoenix. So I pre-ordered one, so I'm gonna get a call I think sometime this week and then I'll come and pick it up, which is good because I'm not done with Mockingjay anyways. So good thing I came today and didn't wait until I was done. So I guess flash forward to the second Barnes trip.
Hi, this message is for Bria. This is Barnes & Noble at Metro Center calling. I'm calling to let you know that your copy of Sunrise on the Reaping has arrived, and we will hold that up at the register for you. Thank you, and have a nice day.
It's literally the next day. I'm so excited. I got the voicemail, and I literally screamed and jumped around my room. Let's go. We did it, guys. Look how beautiful she is. Oh my gosh. When you've been set up to lose everything you love, what is there left to fight for? I am so excited to read this book. I am about a third of the way through Mockingjay, so I gotta finish and then I can read this. So excited if you couldn't tell. Also, I wish it was longer, because the Ballad of Songbird and Snakes was like over 500, and I think this is like 400, which is honestly still a lot, but I'm so excited. I need to not spoil this. Okay, I'm gonna stop reading snippets, and let's go. Hey guys, what is up? It is way later, and yes, my mics are finally back. It took a while, but they're working now, so yay. Anyways, it is much later. It is in fact April 2nd. Yeah, I thought I was gonna buy Sunrise on the Reaping the day it came out and then proceed to read it in the next like 2-3 days. That did not happen, but we're here now. I finally finished the Mockingjay. You should go watch my vlog on that. It's right there. But now I'm here and we're gonna read Sunrise on the Reaping. I'm so excited. I think that's part of the reason why I haven't started to sit down and read it, is because I'm so excited and I know how good this is gonna be and like I want to savor it. I don't know how else to describe that. Let me know if you've ever felt that way with a book. I feel like readers will understand, but I don't know. But we're here now and we're gonna read probably for only like an hour or so, because I do have an early class tomorrow and it's already kind of late. But oh my goodness, I'm so excited for this book. Let's dive right in. Bruh, literally the first sentence and I already feel bad for Haymitch. Of course his birthday is the same day as Reaping Day. That would suck. This book is gonna suck. I can't. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is gonna cause emotional drama. Let's go. Okay, literally still on the first page, but we've already learned a whole bunch. Haymitch's father was also killed in a coal mine. So, that's great. And then this quote, oh my gosh. He wants to devote the afternoon to the two things that he loves best: wasting time and being with his girl, Lenore Dove. So I was wrong. I thought maybe him and Maisley had a thing, but I guess that wouldn't make sense. So, I don't know. We'll find out who Lenore Dove is. But his favorite thing is wasting time. It's crazy. We know some about Haymitch's family now. So obviously his dad died in the fire, and his mom only had him when she was 19. And then he has a little brother named Sid, who's 10. Cute little family. Very, very similar to Katniss's family, with her dad dying in the coal mines, and then having a mom, a single mom, and then having a younger sister, or Haymitch has a younger brother. So far, very similar. Also, Haymitch goes into the woods just like Katniss does. It mentioned him finding some plums or something. I don't know if that was allowed back then. I'm guessing not, because that's still District 12. But I need to stop talking. I've literally read 2 pages. I just need to read. I have a feeling this video is going to be very long, because I'm going to be literally talking every page, so. Oh my gosh. Of course, Haymitch's job is illegally distilling liquor. And he's only 16. Oh my gosh. No wonder he becomes an alcoholic. Ooh, interesting. Apparently, the Abernathys are known for being rebels back in the day. Something that will continue on in Haymitch's future. But interesting. I don't think we knew that from the trilogy. Whoa. Okay. 2 really big things just happened. First off, we're introduced to Burdock Everdeen. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but Katniss's dad. First it just said Burdock, and then something about how he sang and the bird stopped, and I was like, is this who I think it is? And then literally like a paragraph later it was like Burdock Everdeen. I knew we were gonna get Katniss's mom in this book because I know she's friends with Maisley, but we get to see Katniss's dad for the first time ever. Oh my gosh. Okay. And then second, Lenore Dove is part of the covey. I mean, this is, what, 40 years after the Ballad of Songbird and Snakes? Like, the same covey, and her name is the same too, where it's like Lenore is from an old poem, and then Dove is like a shade of gray, which is all the covey were named after a poem in a color. So, oh my gosh, I cannot wait to find out who she's related to in the covey. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm not even in chapter in. I'm so excited. Okay, let's keep going. Wait. Hold up. Burdock Everdeen just referred to Lenore Dove as a cuz. Is that confirming that Katniss's father is related to the covey? I mean, it could be like cousin by marriage, so like his parents might not be from the covey, but also like they could. Oh my gosh, I really hope we find out. I mean, you heard me say it in my Hunger Games vlog that I think Katniss's father is descended from one of the covey. Maybe not Lucy Gray, it could be one of the others, but like I have no words. Okay, we got some clarification from Haymitch. Lenore wasn't one of Burdock's cousins, but like he had some distant cousins, like on his mom's side or something. So they're not like cousins, but I think they're related, which, bruh, I can't even get through one chapter. This is so good. Okay, Lenore's uncles are literally part of the covey. Like, not just like other members that we don't know about of the covey, but like literally the covey. Clerk Carmine and Tam Amber. I'm just waiting for someone to mention Lucy Gray. Oh my gosh. I didn't even dare to imagine that the covey would be part of this book. And here they are. Ooh. Haymitch goes, because the reaping's gonna happen no matter what I believe. Sure as the sun will rise tomorrow. Sunrise on the reaping. We just met Katniss's mom. I mean, we've already met her in the trilogy, but her name's Astrid. And of course, Burdock is already crazy about her. And Haymitch comments on it, like, in his mind, and he goes, there's no chance of that, because Burdock's from the Seam, and Astrid is, like, from one of the richest families in town, and she, like, helps run the apothecary. But they do. Oh my gosh. It's weird knowing the names of Katniss's parents. Like, they've always just been Mr. and Mrs. Everdeen. But now they have names. Oh my gosh. What just happened? So, still trying to gather my thoughts clearly. So the reaping happened. Obviously, Maisley Donner's name was picked. And then one other girl who I don't know who it is. And then the first boy was picked and it was a random name. Second boy was picked, another random name. And I was like, what do you mean? Haymitch is the tribute. But no, the second boy who was picked decided to make a run for it. Did not get very far. He's immediately shot down by the peacekeepers. And like, it made a huge mess everywhere and everyone was like concerned about the mess. And then Lenore Dove was like trying to console his mom. Haymitch was like trying to protect Lenore because he was like, she's in trouble for getting involved with this. So because Haymitch stands up and tries to protect Lenore from the peacekeeper and gets like slammed in the head with a gun, they decide that he's gonna be the replacement. Yeah, so Haymitch was not actually reaped. His name was not pulled. He wouldn't have gone to the Hunger Games. Even if like they just picked a new name, like he might have not. Like, what? Oh gosh, okay. And then they were gonna just kill Lenore too, because why not just get rid of her for causing trouble? Guess who steps in and stops that? Plutarch. I don't know what he's doing there. That seems really random, but Plutarch's here, I guess. Oh my goodness. That did not go the way I was expecting it to. Plutarch Heavensby and like all the camera people were like trying to get reactions like from the parents. Like literally not even like in the moment either, like telling them to like reenact their emotions and like their distress. And every single one of them refused. Except for Haymitch's mom and Sid. Because Plutarch promised them that if they got the reactions that they'd be able to have like a minute or two with Haymitch. Because they revoked the privileges of saying bye to their families because of the bad public display or whatever. And even when they pulled Haymitch's name, when it was rigged, they had the cameras on Lenore to get her reaction and she didn't react. But when they're on the train and they're leaving, Haymitch looks through the window and Lenore's out there and oh my gosh, just this quote. He sees her out the window, so they get to like say their goodbyes, not really say it, but see each other one last time. And Haymitch goes, I'm grateful for her final gift, that she denied Plutarch the chance to broadcast our farewell. The moment our hearts shattered, it belonged to us. Oh, it's literally only chapter 2 and it's already so sad. And we know from the trilogy that Lenore Dove and his mom and Sid, none of them made it. I don't know when the Capitol killed them. If I'm remembering correctly, I think it was like during the Hunger Games. So I think this is the last time he ever sees any of them. This is rough. Gosh, this quote. Haymitch goes, pain stabs my chest, and I wonder if a person's heart can really break. Probably. The word brokenhearted had to have come from somewhere. I imagine my heart busted into a dozen glassy red pieces, their hard, jagged edges stabbing into my flesh at every beat. It may not be scientific, but it matches what I feel. And bro's only 16. The trauma that Haymitch goes through, oh gosh. Even just now at 16, like his life has not been easy. And now he's gonna be in the Hunger Games. And then he's going to have to mentor the tributes for the next 25 years. Until finally, Katniss and Peeta win. And then there's the whole rebel stuff. Like, I feel so bad for Haymitch. Oh, we just got a bit of backstory in the cubby. Not very much, but Haymitch mentioned how Tam Amber, like, remembers when, like, the cubby were rounded up after the war. The Capitol killed all of the adults in the cubby and then left the kids to District 12. Which sounds about right. That's something the Capitol would do. And that makes sense. Why? Because I know, like, they were saying in the Ballad of Songbird and Snakes, they were, like, all orphans and, like, fending for themselves. But I guess I never questioned where all the adults went. The Capitol got rid of them, of course. Still no mention of Lucy Gray, though, or any of the others. Apparently, Haymitch's mom gave birth to twins, 2 girls, and they didn't make it. And so the Donner twins, Maisie and Marilee, I think that's the other name, but the Donner twins remind Haymitch of his sisters. If they had made it, he would have had 2 older sisters, but bro can't catch a break. Okay, a few things have happened. First off, Haymitch and Luella's the other girl tribute. Apparently they're friends and they're allies now. And Haymitch does not like Maisie. She's kind of a snob. So I don't know how they're gonna end up being allies later down the road. Because we know that from, I think, Catching Fire or Mockingjay, one of the 2. And then also, I'm really curious who Haymitch's mentor is gonna be. Because, you know, usually they're the victors, but District 12 has only ever had Lucy Gray, and she's not around. And it was interesting because Haymitch said that he talked to Lenore Gray about the victor, Lucy Gray, a few times, and he said that she never wanted to discuss it. Because she's related to her. I guess, I mean, the Covey aren't, like, related. They're, like, orphans and adopted. But, like, I wonder what she knows about Lucy Gray. Oh, gosh. They just fed the tributes dinner. And then for dessert, they're like, oh, we have a little special surprise. And they bring out a cake for Haymitch's birthday. It's like, happy birthday, you're going to the Hunger Games. Haymitch is thinking about Lenore, and he recalls memory of when they went to an old house by a lake. I wonder where that is. Oh, you know Katniss's Mockingjay pin? Or I guess Madge's Mockingjay pin, which was Maisie's Mockingjay pin. Apparently there was 2. There was one of a hummingbird that was Marilee's, and then the Mockingjay's was Maisie's. Those names are so confusing. Marilee lost hers, like down a well or something. And then Maisie threw a fit that she had a Mockingjay and that was ugly and boring. So it just, she stuffed it in like her closet or something. But there's 2. The second one's probably gone forever. But man, that pin has some significance. They just made it to the Capitol. Haymitch goes, looking after her, referring to Luella, will give me a reason to keep going. Her looking after me will stave off the terror of facing death alone. I can only hope we leave the world together. I don't want to know what happens to Luella. The few scenes that we know from the Quarter Quell, Luella's like, I don't think ever mentioned. And I think she's only 13, so that's great. Also, you know how Haymitch calls everyone sweetheart? That's because of Luella. Apparently when they were little, she decided that, like, she was his sweetheart, and so they, like, jokingly call each other sweetheart now. This book is gonna break me. Oh, apparently, like, the tribute center that we know from, like, the 74th and 75th Hunger Games does not exist yet, which I figured it would, because this is the 50th Hunger Games, so that was only, like, 25 years before. But no, it's the old gymnasium at the academy. Interesting. District 12 is stuck with not a great prep team. They got Drusilla, which is, like, basically Effie Trinket. She's the one that, like, pulled the names, and she's, like, in charge of them. She's not very nice. They don't know who exactly their mentor is going to be yet, but it's going to be one of the mentors for the other districts, which means that they're going to be wanting their district to win, not District 12. This stylist, I forget his name, but he's the stylist that makes them wear coal miner outfits every year. And then the prep team is a bunch of university students. So it seems like they're screwed. That went horribly. They did their stylist stuff and, of course, dressed up as coal miners in literally the same outfits that have been there for years. Then they did the procession, to which they were late to because the stylist was late because he doesn't care about District 12. Yeah, going great for them. And then their horses that were pulling the chariot weren't great, and like something happened. I don't even know. I think like the horses went rogue and then they like went flying off the chariot and Luella died. I think it was quick though, so at least she's out of the arena, or I guess we'll never even have to go into the arena, which makes sense why she was never mentioned in the series. But then why does he team up with Maisie? I guess we'll find out soon. But I gotta go to bed, so we're gonna end it here for now. But so far, so much lore has been dropped. This is gonna be a good book. Whoa, okay. The next chapter continued the opening ceremonies. Right after Luella was like crushed, or I don't even know what happened, but she died. And Haymitch decides to pick her up and run away from the peacekeepers. I don't know what his goal in that was, but he ran up to like the front of the parade and somehow stole District 1's chariot and then used it to bring him and dead Luella in his arms all the way up to President Snow's mansion, where President Snow was standing there. I don't know what just happened. I don't know what Haymitch thought he was doing. He doesn't want to be a piece in their games, which, like, fair, but, like, what was that gonna do? I don't know. Maybe, I don't know, I'll just keep reading. Oh, so Wyatt is part of the Booker Boys, which I don't think I've talked about yet. But basically him and his family, like, gamble and, like, run betting and gambling in District 12. So he knows, like, the odds for all of the tributes. Haymitch asked Wyatt what his dad thought Wyatt's odds were, and apparently it's 40-1, which is not good. That's like if you bet $1, then you'd win $40. Basically, like, he's an underdog, and his dad has no confidence in him. That's great. That's really sad. But Wyatt is pretty useful because he, like, knows the other tributes pretty dang well. At least the odds attributed to them. So, like, he knows which ones to look out for. What? Wiress is one of their mentors. Wait. Apparently, she won the 49th Hunger Games. Oh, gosh. That means Haymitch had to watch his mentor die in the 75th Hunger Games. Oh my goodness. But it's... Okay, wait. It says, hello, I'm Wiress, one of your mentors. Okay, who's the other one? I guess we're gonna find out soon, but... Whoa. Their other mentor is Mags. I have no words. Haymitch had to watch both Wiress and Mags die, protecting Katniss and Peeta. This hurts. What? We knew that Mags was Finnick's mentor, but I guess she was Haymitch's too. Of course he didn't tell Katniss and Peeta, because... Oh my gosh, I didn't realize how much, like, lore and backstory we were gonna get in this book. This is so sad. But Haymitch does not like the fact that they got Wiress. We get the backstory of Wiress's games, which is super interesting. Apparently the entire arena was just, like, shiny and, like, metallic, so, like, no one could tell where anything was. Like, you'd think, like, almost like a bunch of mirrors. They said, like, that you think you're going to, like, a field when it's actually, like, a wall, which I don't know how that works, but that's crazy. So every single tribute was completely confused and disoriented, except for Wiress. Somehow she found, like, a blind spot in the arena, so she literally just stayed in that one spot and nobody could find her. Like, not even the game makers to give her sponsor gifts. Like, they could not find her. And so she literally just outlasted everybody. So she's pretty smart. But Haymitch goes, how can a girl who has fought no one, killed no one, mentored no one, mentor me? She can't, that's all. Which, fair. But also she outsmarted everybody. But then Mags walks in, and She looks at me sadly, knowingly, and then opens up her arms and says, "I'm so sorry about Luella Haymitch." And then says, "For a moment, I teeter between anger and grief, but the dam finally breaks. I step into her embrace, drop my head on her shoulder, and begin to cry." This book is so sad. Okay, at least he likes one of his mentors. Man, okay. Wyrus and Mags. This is gonna be good. Aw. Mags ordered them bean and ham hock soup, which is something that they have all the time in District 12. And she did it because she wanted them to feel comforted. Oh my gosh. That's too sweet. Oh my goodness. Wyrus made up like a little song on the best way to survive in the arena. First, avoid the slaughter. Get weapons, look for water. Find food and where to sleep. Fire and friends can keep. I mean, she's not wrong. That's a good strategy. It's just slightly off-putting and creepy that she would just break into song on how to survive the arena. But also, that is the advice that Haymitch gives to Katniss and Peeta. So, I mean, at least I know that Haymitch is not gonna die. So I won't have to be stressed about that this whole book. But also, Maisie Lee is gonna die, and that's gonna suck. And then also Wyatt's gonna die, and that's gonna suck. And all the rest of them are gonna die. So this book is rough. Okay, this is interesting. So they're all at training now. The three of them from District 12 are thinking about joining the Alliance with, what's his name? Ampert? I don't know if that's how you say it. But Ampert's trying to create an alliance, like a non-career alliance, which is unique. And so all of them are at the knife throwing section of training. And out of nowhere, bro, okay, these names, I don't freaking know how to say these names. But, Panache? Panache, we're gonna go with that. Panache, like, punches Haymitch in the ribs. Just unprovoked. So a bunch of peacekeepers drag him away. But then Haymitch and all the other tributes, like half a dozen of them, all have like knives in their hands, and like they're all thinking we could like overthrow the peacekeepers, like there aren't many of them in here. But then they decide not to, and then Plutarch comes up to Haymitch and is like, "Why didn't you do it?" Like, and he's asking some deep questions, like why do you submit to the Capitol in general, like the Hunger Games, even just like back in District 12. So I think Plutarch is on his way to becoming a rebel. I'm not sure at what point he becomes a rebel, but he's asking the questions. So I don't know. What? So Haymitch was talking to Ampert, and Ampert was like, "Hey, my dad wants to talk to you," which is like, what do you mean your dad wants to talk to Haymitch? Like, why is your dad in the training room? So Haymitch goes looking for him, and his dad is none other than Beetee. Oh gosh. That means Beetee has a child, and his child was killed in the Hunger Games. Because there can only be one victor, and that's Haymitch. So that's great. Oh. Wait, but what does that mean, though? Because aren't Haymitch and Beetee friends? But Haymitch is going to win the games in which his son dies? What? That makes it worse. Beetee is Ampert's mentor. I mean, that makes sense because they're from the same district, but, that's great. So Haymitch is wondering, like, is this, like, on purpose, or are they just the unluckiest family in Panem? And Beetee just straight up tells him. Beetee goes, "It's because I'm being punished for coming up with a plan to sabotage the Capitol's communication system. I'm too valuable to kill, but my son is disposable." The Capitol is literally horrible. So Haymitch is trying to figure out how to break the machine that is the arena. Not sure how he's going to do that. I mean, I guess I do know how he's going to do that. He's talking to Beetee about it. and they're having to be kind of covert because, like, peacekeepers will come up randomly, and then so they'll just have to, like, start talking about the potato battery that they're building, which is so random. But at the end of the conversation, Beatty wishes him happy birthday, and then goes, "That's funny. I was reaped the day you were born." It's just little random trivia for you. And then they shake hands, and Beatty slips him something, and it's a packet of coins and nails and stuff for the potato battery, or any other type of battery. I'm not really sure. But Haymitch is going to try to sneak that into the arena, which I don't know if he'll be successful at that. We'll see, I guess. Ooh, so districts 3, 7, 8, 10, and 12 are all officially allied together. I mean, the games haven't started yet. They're still at training, but they're talking about their strategy. And Ampert's, it's kind of funny because Ampert's only 12, but he's like the leader of this whole thing. But Ilsa's dad was Victor, so kind of fitting. Their plan is that they're going to get all of the non-careers to band together to get rid of the careers, because, like, the careers win an unproportionate amount of time, and he thinks it's going to work because there's so many more non-careers than there are careers. And Haymitch is thinking about this, but on a much larger scale. So he goes, "I think about how the districts outnumber the capital by far more than 3 to 1. Haymitch, you little rebel. I didn't realize how much of a rebel Haymitch was. Because, like, obviously we found out from this book that his family were known rebels, like, way back in the First War. And then in Catching Fire in Mockingjay, we know that he was involved in the rebellion before Katniss and Peeta ever knew about it. But I think it's starting all the way back here. And the Alliance now has a name. They are called the Newcomers, which is a pretty fitting name. So now it's the careers versus the Newcomers. Although District 11 has not sided with either of them. So it might be the careers, the Newcomers, and then a few, like, rogue districts. But so far it's the careers with 1, 2, and 4. And then the Newcomers with, I'm already forgetting the numbers, but there's 6 of them that are now allies. Got a group of 6, group of 3, and then 3 others. Oh, geez. So Plutarch pulled Haymitch away from the rest of the tributes, and they're now both at the Heavensby house, or more like mansion. Guess who's there? President Snow, who's having some horrible disease, or I don't know what's happening to him, but he's, like, can't walk straight, and, like, barfed everything up. He claims it's food poisoning, but it's probably legit poisoning, because he mumbles something about how the cure can be, like, worse than, like, the disease or something, and, like, President Snow is known for drinking the poison along with the person he's killing because he had the antidote. So I'm guessing he just did that, because the person he was with was Incitatus Lumi. These names, oh my goodness. But he was the parade master, so I think Snow just poisoned him after how poorly the parade went, and now Snow's, like, barfing all the poison up. So that's great. And then President Snow sees Haymitch's necklace, which is actually the flint striker, and he goes, a striking necklace. Does he know? And then he, like, looks at it, and there's an inscription that Haymitch missed. And it says, "For H, I love you like all fire, LD," which is so cute. But then Snow goes, "Oh, who's LD?" And Haymitch knows that concealing it isn't going to help anything, because she was, like, filmed at the Reaping. He says Lenore, and then this part's terrifying. Snow goes, "But Lenore what? No, don't tell me. Let me guess. D, that's a tough one. None of the usual suspects, but they so rarely are. I can think of plenty prefaced by deep or dark, deep blue, dark green, but that's not how they work. Perhaps something in nature, like amber or ivory, daffodil, dandelion, diamond. No, that's no color at all, really. All right, I'm stumped. Lenore what?" He knows that Lenore Dove is Cubby, because only the Cubby have the first name be from, like, a poem and the second name be a color. And so Haymitch tells him that her last name is Dove. He goes, "Dove, I've always heard dove color, though. It's a bit of a cheat, but who could resist when you get both the color and the bird? And we know how they feel about their birds." Mockingjays? Does he know that Lenore Dove is related to Lucy Gray. And then he's, like, talking about, like, the Hob and stuff, and, like, how familiar he is with District 12, and it is creeping Haymitch out. I mean, rightly so. Yeah, I don't know what the purpose of this meeting is. I guess we'll find out soon. Okay. This is super interesting. Snow goes, but I know a thing or two about your dove. And Haymitch goes, like what? Like she's delightful to look at, swishes around in bright colors and sings like a mockingjay. You love her, and oh, how she seems to love you. Except sometimes you wonder, because her plans don't include you at all. I don't think we're talking about Lenore Dove here. I think we're talking about Lucy Gray. Just saying. Yeah, so Snow's not happy with Haymitch. So, of course, he's blackmailing him. Basically, Haymitch has to just go along with the games and do what he's supposed to. Otherwise, Snow is going to give him a horrible, long, painful death in the games. Because he overheard him saying that he wants to, like, die quickly in the games, not, like, be torn apart by mutts for days. So that's great. And then Snow goes, oh, and by the way, here's a belated birthday present. And then Luella McCoy walks in. Obviously not actually Luella, because Luella died. But somehow they found a body double for her. And now the body double's going to the games. So that way they don't have to air Haymitch's, like, whole stunt of, like, holding her dead and, like, shaming President Snow for it. And, of course, Snow's gonna get away with it because, obviously, like, the tribute saw it, but the tributes are all gonna die. And then Snow literally just killed the parade master. So, he's gonna get away with it. Haymitch is so funny. Oh my gosh. He's talking to Plutarch, and apparently Plutarch didn't know any of this was happening. Plutarch says that he doesn't approve of this. And Haymitch goes, you're my hero. I hope I'm just like you when I grow up. Oh, wait a minute. That won't be happening. Oh my gosh. I mean, yes, it will be happening, but you don't know that at this point. But this poor girl, whoever she is, the Capitol, like, surgically made her look like Luella. And they, like, programmed her, too. So, like, she's been repeating just, hello, whatever, like, Plutarch or Haymitch or whatever. My name is Luella McCoy. I'm from District 12. She's literally said that, like, 4 times already. So they're just gonna send her in the arena, and Haymitch is supposed to be her ally and just fake it until she dies. What is up, guys? I am back. It has been way too long. Oh my goodness. I literally have not read in like 4 or 5 days, something like that. Yeah, it has been a absolutely crazy weekend. I had the most homework I've had this entire semester. So much so that I did not submit one of them until today, so that was a few days late, but that's fine. Yeah, and then I had a bunch of car trouble. Completely my fault, but I literally wasted probably like almost 10 hours this weekend trying to sort all that stuff out. But we're here now. Oh my gosh. Literally, I haven't had time to do anything. Like, I haven't journaled, I haven't done laundry, I haven't, like... But this week is so much calmer, and I'm doing my laundry right now. So while the laundry's going, I'm gonna keep reading Sunrise on the Reaping. Literally, the hype around this book is so big. I've been watching so many edits of Hunger Games. Like, but there's so many videos I have saved about Sunrise on the Reaping that I can't watch yet because I'm only like a third of the way through. Which is my fault. Also, side note, I literally just today found out that Rachel Ziegler and Josh, I'm blanking on his name, the actors for Lucy Gray and Sejanus Plinth, are dating. That's crazy. I literally had no idea. But that's kind of awkward that Sejanus and Lucy Gray, not Corio and Lucy Gray. Anyways, random little fun fact for you if you didn't know that. I have about an hour, so we're gonna read. I even made some popcorn. Got some popcorn, and we're gonna read. Yeah, I'm so excited to get back in. I technically haven't even started the part where the Hunger Games are. I believe where I left off was where Beetee, like, sneaks in to talk to Haymitch about, like, messing with the arena or something. So, yeah, let's keep going. I am not that far in. I mean, okay, it's almost halfway. But also, like, I just know that this book is going to be so heartbreaking that, like, maybe it is good that I've kind of spread it out a bit, because I already have, like, an hour of footage on just this first part of the book. I thought my commentary on the original trilogy and the Ballad of Songbird and Snakes was long, because that video ended up almost being 2 hours long. I think this one's going to be probably around the same. I think less. Maybe, like, an hour and a half. But still, this book is wild, and let's keep reading. Oh, little piece of lore about Ballad of Songbird and Snakes. I mean, this is probably kind of obvious, but Haymitch mentions that the Victor's Village was built after the lone Victor, which is Lucy Gray. So no one has ever lived in District 12's Victor Village. So I guess Haymitch was the first. Obviously, because I don't think Lucy Gray was going to go live in the Victor's Village after everything that happened. But yeah, little piece of lore. Oh gosh. So Beatty is talking to Haymitch about this plan to flood the arena, which I'm curious to see if that happens, because I haven't heard any mention of this, like, in the original trilogy. And he's, like, telling Haymitch how to do it, and how Haymitch won't be alone, and that Ampert will be with him. And, like, Haymitch is like, why didn't I just do this alone? Like, maybe your son shouldn't be doing this dangerous stuff. And poor Beatty says, for the first time, his agony breaks through his restraint. They reaped him to kill him, Haymitch, to punish me. I can think of no realistic scenario in which he does not die. I can only hope that his death is quick and not in vain. Oh my gosh. Ooh, we're getting another mention of the Mockingjay pin. Haymitch is showing Maisie his flint striker, and he goes, heard you have one of Tam Ember's pins. They're talking about it and how she kind of despises it, because, like, it's kind of weird that a Mockingjay is, like, half mutt. And Haymitch is like, yeah, that's honestly kind of fair. He goes, never thought of it that way. Some people think that's a victory in itself. The way they escaped the capital and survived. Maisie says, do they? Well, if I escape the capital and survive, maybe I'll give that pin a second chance. That pin is gonna get way more than a second chance. It's gonna be the face of the rebellion. But that's like 25 years in the future, so it'll be a while. Oh my gosh, we have another character that we're seeing again. Let's go. Proserpina? I don't know how to say her name, but she's one of the university students that is part of District 12's prep team, and she keeps mentioning her sister and how awesome her sister is, and I was like, that's pretty suspicious how often you're mentioning this sister of yours. And then, just listen to this. A young woman with lavender hair, a dress like a grape gumball, and green checked stockings. 4 black hats stacked on her head, clothes bags draped over her arms. She wheels a cart of spiky shoes into the center of the living room and announces, who's ready for a big, big, big day? And I immediately knew it was Effie. Yes, Effie's back. Of course Effie's back. Wait, did they ever say Proserpina's last name? Because it'd be Trinket. I don't know. But anyways, Effie's back. We love her. Which means, wait, that means Effie was Haymitch's, like, stylist, even if it's, like, unofficial, because their actual stylist has been, like, licking toads and is potentially dead in his apartment. Not really sure what's happening with him. He's kind of psycho. But Effie's here, which means this is the first time Effie and Haymitch have ever met. And they're going to know each other for the next, like, 25 years. I'm curious to see what the relationship is going to be like, because literally Effie just walked into the room right now. So, let's keep going. Oh my goodness. Do you want to know who coined the phrase, may the odds be ever in your favor? If you guessed Dr. Gall, you'd be correct. That seems like too much of a peppy phrase for Dr. Gall to have coined that, but it's kind of fitting. She's kind of terrible. Okay, so Caesar Flickerman is giving kind of like an overview of the history of the games. And so we're getting a lot of like little clues. He talked about the 10th Hunger Games and how that was a turning point where they added like the drones that like brought food and supplies. I think it was actually just food and water. And then also like the bedding. And then the first quarter, well, the 25th games is when they built the first arena for single use, which then continued for the rest of it. And then also the cornucopia made its first appearance at the first quarter quell, which also means that started the whole bloodbath at the beginning of the Hunger Games every year. And yeah, ever since that first quarter quell, it's basically been what it is now. Obviously, like, it gets more and more sophisticated with like mutts and everything. The 25th year was kind of the beginning of the Hunger Games as we know it today. Or I guess not anymore because it doesn't exist. But like, you know what I mean. Ooh, it is interview night, and it is not going well for the careers. Everyone's really interested in the newcomers because this is the first time it's ever been the careers versus another pack of tributes, and they've gone up through District 4, and the careers do not have any plan. And so District 5 right now, which is the last career district, is like banding together trying to come up with something to say to the audience to like salvage what is left of the career's reputation, and it fails miserably. They all say different plans and it's not going well. And the rest of the night is now all for newcomer interviews. So it's going pretty well for the newcomers so far. Bro, what? Okay, so Hamish just finished his interview and he aimed for rascal and he was a rascal. He talked about how he's like messed with peacekeepers back home and with like the game makers and with the careers and how he like brews liquor. So I don't know what that's gonna get him, but apparently he got some sponsors. So cool. But then they mentioned that this is kind of funny. Drusilla and Magno, which Drusilla is like Effie Trinket. She's the one who draws the names and like brings them to the Capitol. And then Magno is a stylist, and they like hate each other, and they're married. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what happened there other than Magno's literally whack. So that's probably why. So that's kind of crazy. And then after the interviews, they go to Plutarch's mansion to do like a photo shoot because they never did it, I guess. And Plutarch gets Hamish alone, and he like hands him a phone, and he's like, "Someone wants to talk to you." And of course Hamish is like, "Oh great, it's President Snow. I messed up again, and this isn't gonna go well." But it's not President Snow. It's Lenore Dove. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna go well. I don't know why she's on the phone, but my laundry's done and I gotta go do that. So we gotta stop at the chapter. And yeah, but Lenore Dove is on the phone with Hamish. So I don't know what's gonna happen, but knowing the Hunger Games, it's probably not good. I'll be back.
Hey guys, it has been way too long once again. It's literally taking me forever to get through Sunrise on the Reaping. And it's not that I don't like it either. Like, this is such a good book. I think it's just April is a crazy month for me just because there's like only 2 weeks left of school, and I feel like everything is due like right now, and there's just so much happening. So yeah, I think I literally started this like 2 weeks ago now. Probably like a week and a half ago, which is still so unusual for any book. Yeah, but I'm halfway through. But I have some free time today, so that's why we're here. And we're gonna get a huge chunk read today because I need to keep reading. Oh my gosh, like March I read 4 books. April, this is my second. So, not reading that much. And we are back. Oh my goodness. We last left off when Hamish got a call from Lenore Dove set up by Plutarch. And as I thought, it did not go well. I mean, I guess it went as well as it could. But basically, Lenore Dove is trying to get herself killed because she thinks she got Hamish killed by sending him to the games. Which it wasn't her fault, or his fault really. Although they both blame each other for him being in the games. But Hamish convinces her it's not her fault, and so they're both promising that, like, Hamish is going to win the games and be back in 12, and Lenore is going to behave herself and not get arrested again. And, like, they say, like, "I love you like all fire," and, like, and then they hang up. And I'm pretty sure that's the last time they're ever going to talk to each other. I mean, maybe, I don't know, but, like, I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering correctly from the trilogy, that Hamish's family and Lenore Dove are all killed while he's in the games. And the games start tomorrow. So, that sucks. But then Hamish afterwards is talking to Plutarch, and he's like, "Wait a minute, how did you get this call? Like, this never happens. Why are you doing this?" And Plutarch is like, "Yeah, you're right. If anyone finds out, the next meal I'll be having is probably a plate of poisoned oysters." So, yeah, apparently Plutarch is with the rebels, or some sort of group, we're not really sure yet. But he set up this phone call because he needs Hamish to trust him and the information on how to break the arena. So he's in cahoots with Beatty. So, we'll see what information he has. So Plutarch gave Haymitch a bunch of information about the arena, and Haymitch just pretended like he had no idea what he was talking about. Because I guess we technically don't know if Plutarch is like spying for the capital or if he's actually part of the plot. I'd like to believe he's actually part of the plot, but we don't really know at this point. So probably good of Haymitch to do that just in case. So he still has the information, but in case it's false or Plutarch is working for the capital, then he's still good. Well, let the 50th Hunger Games begin. There was quite a bloodbath. Oh my goodness. 20 tributes died in the first day. In a normal Hunger Games, that means there's 4 left. But there's not 4 left. There's 28 left. Whew. And most of the tributes who passed were indeed from the newcomers. So not looking too great for them right now. And Wyatt didn't make it. I mean, I knew he wasn't going to make it. Nobody makes it except for Haymitch. But the first day, which means we're never going to get any other scenes with him. Like, that's it. That's literally it. Oh gosh. And also, everything in the arena is poison. Haymitch learned that the hard way. He took a few sips of water out of a stream, only to see a bunny run up and drink out of the stream and then die. So he did have some like charcoal tablets from like a pack that he grabbed at the cornucopia, so he's able to get most of the toxins out, but he's currently sleeping and basically shivering and fever at the same time. I think a lot of the tributes are probably going to die that way, because obviously if you don't know that it's poisonous, you're going to like go drink from the water and eat the apples and everything that's in the arena. So that's great. Crazy start to the Hunger Games. Well, guess who just joined Haymitch? Lulu. Apparently the game makers told her to find Haymitch because he was like, why are you here? And she just kept saying find Haymitch over and over and like tapping her ear, which is where the device is in her head telling her what to do. So that's great. They keep just traveling north because that's where Beatty told him to go. Lulu runs into a group of flowers and Haymitch is like, oh, it must be like a memory from District 11, which is where she's probably from. And after like a minute, he's like, okay, let me like go take her out of this flowers. Like, we need to keep going. Only to find her like covered in the pollen and just like bleeding everywhere. And then like she turns blue and then she dies. So Haymitch had to watch both Luella and Lulu die, and he couldn't do anything about it. I think literally half the tributes are dead at this point. So of course, Haymitch decides to retaliate to the game makers, even though that's not a good idea, and he was warned to not do that. But he takes Lulu's body over to like a thicket where like the hovercraft can't reach them. And so of course the game makers respond with like these electric butterfly things that like basically tase Haymitch. So that's great. But he uses the flint striker to set fire to a bunch of these like gas flowers or something that like kill a bunch of the butterflies. And then he follows the butterflies back to where they came from, and he finds one of the passages down into the subground or whatever it's called. And he managed to get a stick into the opening, so there's a little bit of an opening left. But he does all this probably without the game makers knowing, because he pretends to not notice. So some of his plans going along pretty well. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. So Ampert and Haymitch found each other, and Haymitch went into the burn with the flowers and blew up the water thing. So there's like a flood of water, then there's like these mutts that he was like trying to escape from, and then he managed to get back into the arena and was trying to find Ampert, and he couldn't find him anywhere. And then they were oh, I can't do this. Oh my gosh. There were these like squirrel mutt things, and they were attacking Ampert, and oh my gosh. He's gone. And they were like piranhas, and all that was left was his skeleton. And oh, Haymitch promised Beatty that he would not let Ampert suffer, and that happened. Oh, and Haymitch is just regretting this whole thing, and he goes, somewhere Beatty's heart breaks into fragments so small it can never be repaired. Oh gosh. But I guess in good news, it kind of worked. Everything in the arena kind of started, like, buffering and flickering, and, like, the dome overhead disappeared for a few seconds, and you actually, like, could see the real sky. Unfortunately, it was just damaged and not completely destroyed, which, I mean, fair. I feel like that would have been too easy if that was all it took. Yeah, but then Haymitch climbs a tree to kind of, like, look at the arena and try to see, like, what's going on. And far in the distance, beyond the meadow, the mountain erupts in a fountain of lethal gold. And I have my answer. For me, the party is over. So I think a volcano just erupted. Every other tribute is on the mountain. So most of them aren't going to make it, if not all of them. No, because I know how Maisley dies, and we haven't gotten there yet. This book, oh my gosh. Oh gosh, Hamish just got attacked by 3 careers, including Panache, however you say his name, and then 2 others. And he killed 2 of them in self-defense, just like reflex. And then Panache was like about to kill him, and then Maisley came out of nowhere, and she has a poison dart. So Panache is gone now. So not a good day for the careers. Haymitch and Maisley are now allies, which we've seen this scene before in Catching Fire. Yeah, Catching Fire. And then it's nightfall, so we know that we're down to 10 tributes, and only 2 of those are careers. So Haymitch goes, Wyatt would have liked those odds. Why is everybody dead? The saddest was Ampert, that I literally cried. Oh my gosh. Only 9 more to go before Haymitch is crowned victor. Maisley and Haymitch found 3 of the newcomers being attacked by a massive porcupine, and none of them made it. Even though they tried their best to save them, it was too late. And they're talking afterwards, and Maisley goes, one of us has to win this thing. And Haymitch asks, why is that? And she replies, one of us has to be the worst victor in history. Tear up their scripts, tear down their celebration, set fire to the victor's village, refuse to play their game. I mean, she's right. And Haymitch will be that eventually. Honestly, not for a while. I guess because we don't really know anything about his life in between the 50th and 74th Hunger Games. I don't really know what just happened, but I guess Haymitch and Maisley ran into the other 2 careers and also 3 game makers. I think they, like, ran into one of, like, the berms. It was, like, open, and there was game makers there, and they killed the game makers, and then, like, explosions went off or something, so now they're all separated, but I don't know what's going on. Haymitch and Maisley have got to split up pretty soon, because I'm pretty sure they split up when there was only 5 tributes left, and there are only 5 tributes left. So, I don't know. Well, Haymitch and Maisley made it to the end of the arena, or technically out of the arena. They, like, blowtorch their way through, like, a maze. I mean, Maisley still thinks they're in the arena, but Haymitch knows that they're not because nothing is pretty there and, like, the air smells normal and everything. They found the generator. Or I guess Haymitch found the generator because Maisley doesn't know what she's looking for. But, like, there's no way to destroy it because it's out of reach. And this is where Maisley and Haymitch part ways. Because I was right, there's only 5 left. They're parting ways. And that is where I'm going to stop for now, because I have somewhere I need to be. But we got a huge chunk of reading done. Pretty far through. Probably can finish maybe tonight, depending on how much time I have, or tomorrow. Getting to the end. This book is wild. I mean, I knew it would be, but Suzanne Collins, you are crazy. In a good way, in a bad way. But yeah, I don't... Anyways, see you next time.
Welcome back, guys. Today I'm going to finish Sunrise on the Reaping. It's been a long time coming. Oh my gosh. I don't know, I feel like I've just been reading so slowly, and these past few weeks have been crazy. But I have like 70, 80 pages left. So we're gonna crank it out today and we're gonna finish. I'm all cozy, got my blanket, even though it's like 100 degrees outside. We have the AC on, so it's nice and cold in here. Yeah, let's dive right in and finish this book. Literally, this has been my most anticipated read for months. Like, when I started this YouTube channel, this was the book I was thinking about. So yeah, without further ado, last day of reading Sunrise on the Reaping. It's gonna hurt really bad, but I just know the ending is gonna be absolutely horrific. I literally already cried yesterday when Ampert died, so more to come. Haymitch figured out the force field over the generator by kicking a rock and it flung back completely accidentally. And just as he figured it out, Maisley is attacked by a bunch of mutts and dies. This is another scene that we know from Catching Fire when Peeta and Katniss were watching the tapes, but it even hurts all the more because we find out Maisley had suggested splitting up, but they never had fully agreed to do it. They were like thinking about it, so they were kind of still allies when that happened. And another tribute is gone too. There's been 2 cannons in the past like minute, so I think it's Haymitch and 2 others now. The end is near. Oh. This is Haymitch is thinking about Maisley, and this is what he says. Goodbye, Maisley Donner, who I loathed, then grudgingly respected, then loved. Not as a sweetheart or even a friend. A sister, I'd said. It's so sad. They went through so much together, and they literally... He goes, a sister is someone you fight with and fight for, tooth and nail. So it's nighttime now, so now they know that it was Mariette and Maisley that passed. So we know it's Haymitch, and then Silka, who's the last remaining career, and then Welly, who's the last newcomer, well, besides Haymitch. So Haymitch decides that his final act is going to be protecting Welly and making sure that she wins. Which isn't gonna happen, so I don't know how that's gonna happen, but it's gonna be painful. Well, Haymitch found Welly. She's like up in a tree, not moving and not speaking, so not doing too well. But Haymitch climbs up there, and so they're both up there for the night. And they get a parachute with some food, and it has some chocolate in it. And then they hear crying. Apparently Silka is down at the bottom of the tree, just crying. And so Haymitch is thinking about how this is such a good poster. It was like him and Maisley's way of describing it, like how to rebel against the capital, basically. And so he drops Silka down a chocolate. Haymitch goes, I become intensely aware of the 3 of us. Huddled around this tree, the last trio of human heartbeats in the arena. Sad, desperate, but also a rare moment of district unity in the games. That's really sad. Genuinely so confused on how this is gonna end, because first Welly has to die, and then Silka's gonna attack Haymitch, and then we're just gonna read and not try to think about it too hard. It's weird like reading and knowing so much about what happens in the games. I don't know. Oh my gosh, what just happened? So Haymitch was trying to go find wood to start a fire. He left Welly behind, and while he was out, he received a parachute with a pitcher of milk in it, which was either the same or the exact replica of the one that was in Plutarch's house. And that's significant because I don't know if I mentioned this, but when Snow had poisoned whoever he poisoned and was like being sick everywhere, he needed milk, and there was that pitcher, and Haymitch drank the milk and was like, uh-oh, we're out of milk. He's convinced that this milk is poison, and obviously only he knows it's poison, but like everyone's gonna expect him to go bring the milk to Welly, but if he does that, he's gonna poison her. And if he doesn't, then people are gonna be like, oh, he wasn't actually being nice to Welly, he was making it all up just so he could be a victor. So he's trying to figure out what to do with this milk when a cannon goes off. Yeah, Silka found Welly, and Welly tried to defend herself with the poison dart gun that just had 1 shot left, and it missed. And so Haymitch is running back, and he just sees Silka holding Welly's head. Just her head. Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine being Haymitch. Like, every single person he's tried to protect has died like in front of him, and that's going to continue to keep happening when he's mentoring tributes for the next like 25 years. Oof. Well, I guess we're down to the final 2 now. Almost over. And the 50th Hunger Games are over. Oh my goodness. Hamish didn't think to utilize the force field as a weapon until after he already dropped down to his knees and the axe was flying into the force field. He goes, I watch, breathless, for what the love of my life would call poetic justice. It's pretty poetic. Silka died. And then Hamish is like, I'm gonna go out with a bang. And so he starts assembling the bomb, and the game makers are like yelling at him to stop. And he throws like the explosive over to the force field, and then everything blows up. Yeah, I don't know what he was trying to do with that other than just make them mad and then also die in the process. Because literally the chapter ended with I die happy. Clearly he didn't die. And now we still have quite a bit of the book left, which is all probably going to be punishment of all the ways that he acted out in the arena. So I guess let's figure out the aftermath. So Hamish awoke in this like underground like laboratory thing, and he's like strapped to a table getting medical attention, but like not a hospital, because there's like these avoxes that are like banging on glass like asking for help, and there's like rabbits being eaten by snakes, and it's really weird. And I don't know if he's hallucinating all that or if that's actually happening. I don't know. But then he wakes up again and he's in the tribute apartment where him and Wyatt and Maisie and Lulu all were with Wyrus and Mags, but there's nobody there. He knows that Snow wants him alive because clearly he's not dead yet. There's all these cameras, and he's like, he knows that people are watching, and he goes, perhaps as a victor I will never be off camera again. Yeah, you're gonna be made an example of. Not gonna go well for you until 25 years in the future, and then stuff will be better, but it's gonna be a while. No way. I didn't think this was gonna happen, but okay. So it's been probably like a week that Hamish has been just in this apartment, kind of just wasting away, and the TV is kind of just going off and on, showing different clips of old Hunger Games. And one of the clips that's shown is Lucy Gray. I want to say it's during her interview. It's when she's singing the song about how she's a bet that was lost in the reaping, and then she like points over to Snow. So like there's 18-year-old Snow, and Hamish puts two and two together, and he figures out, he's like, that's definitely a Cubby girl. That's got to be the District 12 Victor. And he's like, who's that guy? And then he like does the math, and he's like, oh wait, that's probably President Snow. And then he remembers how President Snow was talking about the Cubby. And he goes ballistic and realizes that Snow is not going to let Lenore Dove live. And he also realizes that Lenore Dove probably knows the story of Lucy Gray. And then a bunch of peacekeepers come in. So it's going to get interesting. Oof, Hamish just had his like victory ceremony or whatever, where it's like on live television, and they did the whole recap of the games, except it was completely twisted. The game makers basically took all the events that they didn't want to show and completely erased them, and then everything that they could show, they completely rearranged and basically took out any part that Hamish was ever helping anyone, except for teaming up with Maisie, because like you can't really take that out. But like they just made him look selfish and cruel.
Oh gosh. There's an after party at Snow's mansion, and they have Hamish in like a bird cage just hanging from the ceiling, and everyone thinks it's really funny. But at least he gets to talk to Plutarch, and he finds out Lenore Dove was in fact never released from being arrested. At least as far as we know, she's not dead yet. So maybe they get to talk one more time, hopefully. That would be nice. Oh. At least Hamish is finally on the train back to District 12, and they're not moving, and he asks one of the peacekeepers, like, hey, like, why are we not going yet? And the peacekeeper goes, oh, we're waiting for your friends. And then they proceed to load the 3 coffins of Wyatt, Luella, and Maisie. I can't even imagine, like, being the parents and, like, having your kid come home in a coffin, and then, like, there's a Victor. I have no words. Oh, no. So, Hamish made it back to District 12, and they literally just dumped him and the coffins off in the middle of the night. And then he's walking to his house that is going up in flames. Oh, of course President Snow made him watch his family die instead of just killing them. Still no word of Lenore Dove yet, though. Oh, gosh. Bro, this book, they're having a mass burial for literally so many people. Ma and Sid are buried together, and then there's Maisie, Luella, and Wyatt, and then also Wyatt's dad, Jethro Callow. He committed suicide after his dead son came back. I can't do this. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay, so Hamish and Lenore Dove were reunited, for a beautiful 60 seconds. She picked up a bag of gumdrops, and he assumed that they were the ones that he had told Sid to give her after the reaping. And she's like, no, I thought you brought these for me, like, right now. And he realizes it too late that it's a bunch of poison, and he tries to get her to like, throw it up, but she dies right in front of him. That's even worse than Snow killing them during the Hunger Games. Like, I don't even know what to say. Oh my gosh. No. Hamish's response to this whole thing is to literally shove everybody he loves away. He goes, President Snow's crystal clear message to me on my homecoming, that I will never get to love anyone ever again, never more, because he will make sure that they end up dying a horrible death. And so I drive away anyone and everyone who could ever have been considered dear to me. Old neighbors, Hattie, customers, schoolmates. Blair and Burdock hang on the hardest. Blair finally acknowledges the truth of my position, gives me one final hug, and leaves sobbing. Even then, Burdock insists on showing up, sometimes along with Astrid, who bears bottles of sleep syrup. Defiant, deaf to my pleas, I resort to throwing rocks, hard, at them. It takes one hitting Astrid on the forehead, blood pouring down her perfect face, to finally get them to leave me alone. Hurting her that way feels worse than anything I did in the arena. Oh. I mean, what is he gonna do for the next, 25 years? Just... no wonder he becomes an alcoholic. He's just by himself in his house, literally, for an entire year, and then has to train tributes, and then watch them die, and then just repeat the whole process. Whoa. Hamish just found the Coveys' graveyard, and there's only 3 people buried there. Maud Ivory, Lucy Gray, and Lenore Dove. Yes, we know Lucy Gray is not alive at this point. I really want to know the rest of her story, though. I don't know if we ever will get to know it. I guess this puts the rumor that Lucy Gray is President Coin to rest, because that there was no way that was true. But that's clearly impossible since Lucy Gray's dead. I start sleeping with a knife in my hand. Trying to forget is my full-time job now. Literally, it's only probably a few weeks after the reaping, and Hamish is already an alcoholic, sleeping with a knife in his hand, And of course, Hamish goes on the victory tour. But Plutarch does pull him aside at one point to an area of District 11 that's somehow not bugged, and he asks Hamish to join the rebellion. I didn't realize Hamish's involvement in the rebellion started this early, but it makes sense. Hamish goes, I know that every year for my birthday I will get a new pair of tributes, one girl and one boy, to mentor to their deaths. Another sunrise on the reaping. Oh, that... Happy birthday, Hamish. Oh my gosh, we get an epilogue of Hamish and his point of view towards Katniss and Peeta. Katniss's hair in 2 braids, reminding me for all the world of Luella McCoy. And after she volunteered for the games, that nickname couldn't help but slip out. I didn't want to let them in, her and Peeta, but the walls of a person's heart are not impregnable, not if they have ever known love. Oh. This is an epilogue after Mockingjay even, because he goes, I didn't want to have anything to do with their memorial book after the war. What use, what point, to relive all the loss? But when Burdock's page came up, I had to mention him showing me the grave, and I felt compelled to tell them about Maisie Donner, former owner of the Mockingjay pin, and how Sid loved the stars. Before I knew it, they all came tumbling out, family, tributes, friends, comrades in arms, everybody, even my love. I finally told our story. Oh my gosh. And then Haymitch finally gets like as happy of an ending as he can. Katniss raids a bunch of nests and gets a bunch of geese eggs for Haymitch and tells him to start raising geese in honor of Lenore Dove. This it's so sad, but at least at the end of his life, Haymitch I think was at least happy. That's the end. Oh my gosh, this book is crazy. It like literally made me cry in multiple spots. I already felt so bad for Haymitch just from like the trilogy, but like the stuff that he went through is like unfathomable. And then also like him being in the rebellion so early on, I did not realize how involved he was, and that was really cool to see. But overall, this book just makes me so sad for Haymitch. What? I genuinely don't know how he lived with himself after everything he went through and continued to go through, literally having the reaping on his birthday and like happy birthday, like another sunrise on the reaping, sunrise on your birthday. Suzanne Collins is incredible. I don't know how she comes up with stories like this. Like, I literally don't have words. But yeah, that is the end of Sunrise on the Reaping. 5-star. Not because I loved it, but because it wrecked me. I'm so glad that Suzanne Collins is still writing Hunger Games books. Not that I'm asking for more already, but like I would love it if she kept writing more. But wow, this book was crazy. I'm going to be thinking about this book literally for the next, like, forever. Whenever I have a new book, I feel like I read it way faster than I should and don't actually comprehend all that's happening in it, so I probably missed a bunch. But overall, incredible book. Oh my gosh. It broke me. Hey guys, it's the next day. I had a little bit of time to process because I was not emotionally well after finishing Sunrise on the Reaping. As many of you can probably relate, this book is literally just trauma. That's the best way to explain it. Over the past like 24 hours, I've watched so many like YouTube videos about Haymitch and like all the stuff we're finding out in this book and how it like relates back to the trilogy, and I cannot wait for the next time where I reread the Hunger Games trilogy, because all the stuff that happens in here, it makes me love Haymitch so much more because he's gone through so much. Yeah. I guess my final thoughts, if you haven't read Hunger Games, go read it. It's so good. I definitely would recommend reading in chronological order. Maybe start with the trilogy and then do the 2 prequels. But like, if you've read the story before, definitely read The Ballad of Songbird and Stakes, then Sunrise on the Reaping, and then Hunger Games Catching Fire Mockingjay. I think you can get a much better sense of the story that way. But yeah, this book, 5 stars. I mean, I wish we did get a little bit more at the end, because the epilogue of this book was so good, and we got to see into Haymitch's mind after, because I feel like a lot of the stuff that happens in this book, we kind of already know the basics of it, but it was really cool to see everything expanded on. Literally, Haymitch and Katniss are so similar, and I know Peeta mentions that in Hunger Games Catching, one of the trilogy books. Reading Sunrise on the Reaping and actually being in Haymitch's mind, like, there's so many connections. The way they think, how they're both like approached by Plutarch to be the Mockingjay, just so much. So yeah, this book definitely exceeded my expectations. And like all the, I don't know, crossovers, is that the best? I don't know what word to use. Like crossovers, Easter eggs of like all the characters, like Plutarch, Effie, the Covey, that was crazy. Literally so many characters were in here that I didn't even dare to dream would be in this book. So good. Hunger Games is one of my favorite series. It's just so nostalgic. And I'm so glad there's more books coming out. I hope that this is not the last one. But yeah, that is my thoughts on Sunrise on the Reaping. I'm hoping after this book I will be able to read more, because these past 2 months have been not a great reading month. But I think it's been because I've been so heavily reacting to books between this video and then my last video reacting to the other Hunger Games books. So I think I'll just read some books for fun now. But yeah, that's the end of this video. Comment your favorite part of Sunrise on the Reaping. I want to hear your thoughts. Or maybe what book do you think will be next if Suzanne Collins does write another Hunger Games book? Do we think it'll be Phoenix Games? I think that would be really cool. Or maybe like a whole epilogue to after Mockingjay, that would also be really cool. I mean, any story that Suzanne Collins writes in the Hunger Games world, I think is going to be incredible. Yeah, but that's the end of this video. See you next time.